On May the 17th, 1974, the town of Monaghan was shaken by an explosion that would become one of the darkest days in its history. 7 people died and dozens more were injured. This is the interview of Dominic Meehan, a witness to the events on that day.
Friday the 17th of May 1974, coming up at 7 o'clock, there was a slight shower. The media were coming out with the fact that there was 3 bottle explosions in Dublin. And I was talking to my mother at the time, and I was just saying to her, it was terrible what has happened in Dublin. Just that the bomb went off in Monaghan. First thing that struck me, I thought it was a gas cylinder that had exploded in my neighbour's Paddy Byatt, who sold gas. He was gas agent, sold gas cookers. But I recall going into my mother's hairdressing saloon, and my sister had fainted. I lifted her, put her in a chair, and I thought that she had electrocuted herself with an electric kettle. It wasn't until I came outside, and my father was in about his barber shop, which is 2 doors down where we live. And I went out to see was he okay. He was okay, so I left with my father and I ran in the direction of the Dawson Monument from Dawson Street. I advanced towards into the square, into where Breeson Pub is, alongside McLeod's Cafe, where I met John McQuaid, now as I know, was coming out carrying Tommy Krugman, and Tommy was quite seriously injured. So I moved on in and I went to the aid of Archie Harper. Archie Harper had serious head injuries. I dealt with Archie, and basically somebody else came along and took over. So I moved in, I run over and up into the bar, Grayson's Bar. And when I was entering more or less Grayson's Bar, there was 2 people lying dead on the right-hand side, another person lying dead on the left-hand side. So when I went up into the bar, I lifted a man. That was Tommy Campbell. I worked with Tommy the day before. We worked face-to-face. We were dropping the data sheets. And I didn't recognise it was Tommy, to be honest, for obvious reasons. So basically, the emergency service at that stage then starts to arrive on scene, and I remember a fireman, the name of Eugene Swift Sr., came in behind me. I still hear his voice saying to me, "Leave that man down, that man's gone." So then we started to get another man onto a door to get him out, serious casualty. He had facial injuries, lacerations to the right-hand side, right eye. And we were taking him out, and then we got word that there was a second bomb. So basically, me being 17 years of age, I got the hell out of there as quick as I could and left Church Square and left the area of Breeson's. There was a dark cloud over Monaghan for quite a number of weeks. You were very observant as to where you were going, where you were, what was around you, who was around you, and naturally enough, because whenever that bomb went off, you were sort of expecting that something else is going to happen. So like, for a number of weeks and for a number of months, people were very vigilant. So all in all, it was 7 people who had lost their lives as a result of the Monaghan bomb. There was over 30 people injured. On that day alone, in total, between Dublin and Monaghan, there was 37 people killed and over 300 injured. On the days that followed, it was basically where the 7 funerals had to take place. The media itself now was in brief. especially around Benson Park, where Peggy White lived with her family and her husband Joe. The Cropin family, the circulation of the Cropin family from Kilmeal to Allen. But George Williamson became to Allen. He was a single man farmer. He'd lost his life. I no doubt in my mind the families were just devastated as to what had happened. It did affect businesses in Monaghan. It affected the social life of Monaghan. You might go to an event and there could be a bomb scare. You know, you wouldn't be too long there. The next thing we are evacuated because the word came in there was a bomb. That had been going on for quite a while after that, by the way. And the pubs in the town were doing quite well then, but they were affected as well. People weren't going out. What I'd like people to take away from this is that there's no answer to violence. There's no replacing of life as a result of violence. There's no justice in violence. There's no justice in taking someone's life. When you look up and you see what families suffer as a result of violence, I would like to think that people would take away from this that it's very easy to live your life and above all to enjoy other people who live in theirs. That it's good to see people getting on and getting on in life.